What if I told you that a simple drink, something you can prepare in under 2 minutes, could begin lowering your blood sugar levels within just 24 hours? And no, it's not some overpriced powder, exotic supplement, or miracle pill. It's something backed by science, accessible in almost every kitchen, and yet shockingly overlooked. Now here's the real kicker. This drink doesn't just impact blood sugar. It taps into a hidden network of benefits that ripple through your metabolism, your hormones, your prostate, even your sexual health. So why aren't more people talking about it? Why haven't your doctors mentioned this? And most importantly, what happens if you start tomorrow morning? If you're looking to take back control of your body, get more energy, protect your heart, support your testosterone levels, and maybe even sharpen your mind, then make sure you stay right here. And hey, if you're even remotely interested in improving your health with smarter choices, not harder ones, tap that subscribe button now so you never miss out. All right, let's get right into it. It starts with a cup. That's all. 1 cup in the morning, before anything else, and suddenly, you've shifted the metabolic gears of your body. What we're talking about is something your bloodstream recognizes instantly, something that can reduce post-meal glucose spikes, calm inflammation, even kickstart fat burning, all without needing you to change a single other thing in your routine, at least not at first. So what's inside this cup? I'll tell you, but first, let's talk about why it matters. Every time you wake up, your blood sugar is already climbing, even before you touch a crumb of food. This is called the dawn phenomenon, a natural rise in glucose that helps you get going for the day. But in men over 35, especially those dealing with extra belly fat or sluggish energy, this rise can be much sharper and more dangerous than you think. Why? Because insulin resistance is creeping in. And here's where things get interesting. This early morning blood sugar surge is often the first red flag your body gives you that something's off. You might not feel it, not yet, but it shows up as foggy thinking. As that 3 p.m. crash you keep blaming on poor sleep, as cravings that come out of nowhere, or worse, as problems in the bedroom that seem to have no clear cause. Now imagine if you could buffer that surge. Smooth it out, bring it down naturally and gently. That's what this drink does. The secret ingredient is apple cider vinegar. But hold up, before you skip ahead, thinking you've heard it all before, what I'm about to explain is not your typical just throw it in water and chug advice. There's a specific way to use it, a specific dose, and when you combine it with 2 other simple ingredients, both of which you probably have right now, it becomes a metabolic elixir, one that's been quietly studied, clinically observed, and shockingly effective. Let's break it down. Apple cider vinegar contains acetic acid. This acid slows the digestion of carbohydrates. But more importantly, it directly improves insulin sensitivity, which means your body needs less insulin to deal with the same amount of sugar. That's a huge win, because high insulin, not just high blood sugar, is at the root of almost every chronic disease we fear today. Heart disease, fatty liver, Alzheimer's, and yes, sexual dysfunction in men. In one study published in the Journal of Functional Foods, participants who consumed apple cider vinegar before a high-carb meal had significantly lower blood glucose levels after eating. That's right, something as simple as sipping the right drink before your meal could reduce the damage from that meal by as much as 30 to 40%. That's not a guess. That's from peer-reviewed data. But it doesn't stop there. See, when blood sugar stabilizes, your body no longer has to flood the bloodstream with insulin. And when insulin comes down, several key systems in the body begin to work better. Testosterone production goes up. Inflammation cools down. You sleep deeper. Your fat-burning pathways become unblocked. And yes, your prostate feels the difference too. That's because excess insulin fuels systemic inflammation. It's like pouring gasoline on a smoldering fire. And your prostate? It's right in the middle of that blaze. Chronic inflammation is one of the leading factors in benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, and while it's often dismissed as normal aging, it's not inevitable, not if you address the root cause. So, when you take control of your insulin levels using something as gentle and natural as this morning drink, you're not just helping your pancreas or your glucose meter readings. You're creating a ripple effect of benefits throughout the entire body, the kind that you can feel, not just measure on a chart. Now back to the drink. You'll want to start with 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, ideally organic and unfiltered. Mix that into a full glass of warm, not hot, water. Why warm? Because it's easier on the stomach and it absorbs a bit faster, especially when taken on an empty stomach. Next, add a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, real cinnamon, not the artificial kind. Cinnamon is a blood sugar powerhouse in its own right. It mimics the action of insulin, increases glucose uptake into the cells, and helps lower fasting glucose levels over time. In fact, a study in diabetes care showed that just 1 to 6 grams of cinnamon daily can reduce fasting blood sugar levels by up to 29%. That's not small, but we're not done. The third and final ingredient is freshly squeezed lemon juice. About half a lemon is enough. Why lemon? 2 reasons. First, it adds a refreshing tang that balances the flavor. But more importantly, lemon contains citric acid, which further slows digestion and enhances your body's ability to absorb minerals like magnesium, which is essential for insulin signaling. Now put this together. You've got acetic acid, cinnamaldehyde, and citric acid, 3 compounds working synergistically to stabilize blood sugar, enhance insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, and support hormone balance, all in one simple drink. And here's where things get really exciting. Men who start their day with this drink often report noticeable changes within the first 48 hours. The first thing they feel is better energy, more stable, more sustained. Then, fewer cravings, especially in the evening when blood sugar tends to dip and snack attacks hit hardest. By day 3 or 4, some begin to sleep deeper, wake up clearer, experience fewer bathroom trips at night. Even libido starts nudging upward, which is no coincidence, because when insulin resistance begins to reverse, testosterone gets released from its biochemical prison. Yes, you heard that right. High insulin locks up testosterone. It converts it to estrogen via an enzyme called aromatase, especially in belly fat. That's why men with insulin resistance often have soft midsections, fatigue, and fading libido. But when you bring insulin down, naturally, your body starts converting stored fat into fuel, and your hormonal profile begins to shift. You feel stronger, more confident, more like yourself again. And it starts with this 1 cup. But let me be clear, you won't get there by just trying it once. Consistency is everything. This is about creating a ritual that sets the tone for your metabolism every single day, before breakfast, before coffee, before your phone even hits your hand. 1 cup, 2 minutes, major impact. And if you're thinking, okay, sounds good, but I don't want to drink vinegar every day, you're not alone. That's why we added the cinnamon and lemon. It's not only more palatable, it's surprisingly refreshing. You can even toss in a few ice cubes or make a double batch and keep it in the fridge so it's ready when you are. Now let me ask you this. What would it feel like to go an entire day without crashing, without reaching for that emergency snack or extra coffee at 2 p.m.? What would it feel like to finally own your mornings again, instead of being dragged around by cravings and fatigue? That's the power of blood sugar control. That's the power of choosing the first thing you put in your body each day. And the best part? This isn't a quick fix. It's a foundation. Once you master your mornings, everything else gets easier. Your food choices improve because cravings drop. Your workouts feel better because your energy is steadier. Your sleep gets deeper, which boosts testosterone even more. And yes, your confidence skyrockets, not because of a pill, but because you're taking real control of your health, one choice at a time. Sometimes all that stands between you and the health you desire is a decision. And no, we're not talking about extreme diets, expensive medications, or surgeries. We're talking about a natural and proven solution that has already transformed the routines of thousands of people, restoring well-being, energy, and tranquility. It's accessible, it works, and it's in the pinned comment. But it only works for those who take action. Are you going to continue suffering, or are you going to click and change that today? You kept watching, which tells me something important. You're not here to hear theories. You're here to make a change. You've already taken the first step by simply learning how a few powerful ingredients can flip the switch on your metabolic health. But now, let's go deeper. Because when blood sugar stabilizes, the dominoes start falling in the best way possible. And some of the benefits that start showing up may actually surprise you. In fact, they might even make you wonder why nobody ever told you about this sooner. Let's start with something most people don't expect: the impact on mental clarity. If you've ever felt like your brain was foggy, like your thoughts were wading through molasses, or that you just couldn't seem to focus like you used to, there's a good chance your blood sugar is to blame. When glucose spikes and crashes repeatedly, the brain gets stuck in a chemical seesaw. It's trying to run on a fuel source that keeps cutting out. But when you level out blood sugar, especially with something as simple and consistent as the morning drink we talked about, the fog starts lifting. Literally. In fact, several studies have shown that even modest improvements in insulin sensitivity are linked with sharper memory, quicker decision-making, and more stable moods. And this isn't just about avoiding disease like dementia down the line, although that's a major bonus. It's about showing up sharper for your life today. More energy at work, more presence with your partner, more drive when it matters most. And speaking of drive, let's talk testosterone. I know we touched on it earlier, but it deserves more time, because if you're a man over 30, chances are your testosterone levels are already on a gentle downhill slope. That slope gets steeper with every pound of belly fat, every night of poor sleep, and every year of chronic inflammation. And yes, high insulin plays a central role in that entire chain reaction. Insulin resistance doesn't just lock up testosterone, it promotes the enzyme aromatase, which literally converts testosterone into estrogen. And guess where aromatase lives? Inside fat cells, especially the ones around your belly and chest. So if you've been noticing lower energy, slower recovery, less motivation, or even subtle changes in your physique, this might not be just getting older, it might be high insulin, quietly rerouting your hormonal engine. Now here's the good news. Lowering insulin, starting with that morning drink, reverses the trend. You begin unlocking stored testosterone. You reduce fat mass. You regain your edge, and it doesn't take months. For many men, these changes begin within just a few weeks of consistently managing blood sugar, and not just with vinegar and lemon and cinnamon, but by starting each day with a small act of control, a quiet moment of intention, and a drink that aligns your biology with your goals. But let's go even further, because one of the most overlooked benefits of managing blood sugar in this way is what it does for your cardiovascular system. And it starts with something most people don't even connect to blood sugar: nitric oxide. This molecule is like nature's own blood vessel relaxer. It helps arteries open up, improves circulation, lowers blood pressure, and enhances oxygen delivery to every organ, including the most vital ones for performance and pleasure. But when insulin levels are chronically high, nitric oxide gets suppressed, blood vessels stiffen, circulation suffers, and not just in the heart. You know exactly what I mean. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Apple cider vinegar has been shown to indirectly support nitric oxide production by improving endothelial function, the health of the inner lining of your blood vessels. Cinnamon improves blood flow by reducing inflammation and oxidative stress. And lemon, loaded with vitamin C and plant polyphenols, supports the synthesis and stability of nitric oxide. So this isn't just a blood sugar drink. This is a circulation drink, a metabolism drink, a hormone balancing drink, a vitality drink. But if that's still not enough to convince you, let me hit you with one more reason to take this seriously. Something that goes deeper than numbers or symptoms. Your body is either building health or silently allowing disease to take root. There is no middle ground. Every meal, every bite, every sip, it's either pushing you toward resilience or away from it. And when you start your day by taking control of your blood sugar, you're not just reacting to health issues. You're creating health. You're choosing the version of yourself that shows up with energy, confidence, clarity, and purpose. Now, you might be thinking, okay, what if I already eat well? What if I don't have type 2 diabetes? What if I'm just trying to stay ahead? Here's the thing. Blood sugar issues don't announce themselves with a siren. They creep in slowly. A little belly fat here, a few restless nights there, morning stiffness that wasn't there last year, subtle shifts in energy, libido, motivation. But by the time most people take action, they're already in the danger zone. Elevated A1C, fatty liver, prehypertension, maybe even ED. The best time to act was before symptoms showed up. The second best time? Right now. And this doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a 10-step protocol. You don't need expensive gadgets or fancy powders. You just need to start. Pour the glass. Stir the ingredients. Drink it down. And do it again tomorrow and the next day. Because that small act, repeated consistently, is the hinge that swings the door to better health wide open. Now, let's answer something I know a lot of you are thinking. What about side effects? What should I watch out for? Good question. Apple cider vinegar is acidic, so it's always best to dilute it. Never take it straight. Doing so could irritate your throat or damage tooth enamel over time. That's why we mix it with water. And if you're prone to acid reflux, start slow. Maybe half a tablespoon, and work your way up. Most people tolerate it extremely well, especially when taken before meals or on an empty stomach. Cinnamon, especially Ceylon cinnamon, the true cinnamon, is very safe in small amounts. But if you're using cassia cinnamon, the more common kind, limit it to about half a teaspoon a day, as it contains higher levels of coumarin, which could affect liver function in large doses. Again, moderation is key. As for lemon, it's a wonderful antioxidant source, but if you have sensitive teeth, consider drinking through a straw or rinsing your mouth afterward to protect enamel. See? All very manageable. And the upside? Huge. So let me ask you this. How different would your life be if your energy didn't crash halfway through the day? If you didn't feel like you were constantly fighting cravings or fighting the clock? If you had sharper focus, stronger libido, deeper sleep, better workouts, and the blood work to prove it? That version of you exists. It's not a fantasy, it's physiology. And it's just one small decision away. One small habit, one simple drink. That's it. And if you've made it this far, here's your challenge. Don't just think about it, do it. Tomorrow morning, before anything else, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, half a lemon squeezed, warm water, stir, drink, and feel the shift. Then do it again the next day, and the day after that. If you commit to just 7 days, you'll start to feel the difference. If you go 30, others will start to notice. And if you make it part of your life, well, that's when things really start getting interesting. And if you're wondering what else you can do, what other simple shifts can amplify these results and make your health unstoppable, well, there's another video on screen right now that dives into just that. Go ahead and click it. I promise you're not going to want to miss what's inside.